series to play meaningful games in August and September. And the Rockies, with Carlos Gonzalez and the crew, have a chance to do that. Win a series against the St. Louis Cardinals and continue their climb towards the NL wildcard spot. Jorge De La Rosa will be on the hill in search of his 16th win of the season. And the Rockies on Sundays are 17-9 this season, including 10-3 here at Coors Field. Welcome to 20th and Blake. I'm Mark Stout. The Rockies get to face a team that last night clinched the NL Central in the St. Louis Cardinals. They will have a varied lineup here this afternoon, but regardless, the Rockies need to get their work done, get their business in, and get a victory, and continue to turn the page with 1 week to go here in the regular season. It's game number 156 of the year. We're ready for Rockies baseball as we get it up to Drew Goodman and George Frazier.
It is another spectacular day in the Rocky Mountain region. The Rockies hoping to match the weather today with a spectacular performance against the St. Louis Cardinals, who indeed clinched the National League Central by way of their 6-3 victory last night. They're 90-65. The Rockies 87-68. Well, just 8 more days, 7 more ball games left in the 09 regular season. Upstairs with George Frazier, I'm Drew Goodman. It's come down to basically 2 teams in the wild card race. The Rockies are the hunted. They're 2.5 games up on the Atlanta Braves, George. The Braves trailing 3-2 in the 6th inning to Livan Hernandez and the Nationals.
Well, you can only hope for the best, and you hope that Livan's able to work into the 7th and then let their bullpen take over. Obviously, everybody knows Washington's not a good baseball team. The Atlanta Braves have played very good baseball of late. But take care of your own business. It's your destiny to end up where you want to go and where you want to end up at the end of the season. They have Milwaukee coming in for 3 Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Then you head to Dodger Stadium over the weekend to finish out the season against the Dodgers. The Braves are at home against Florida. Josh Johnson will not pitch in that Florida series in Atlanta. That's bad news for Rockies fans. That's the number one of the top 4 young pitchers in the game of baseball. You'd love to see him go into Atlanta and pitch. He is not going to pitch. And then they take on again the Washington Nationals.
You know, it still comes down to this for me, and we've talked about this a lot. Jim Tracy's mentioned it. If you can get to 91 wins, that would be going 4-3 this week. That's one heck of a season, and that would put a lot of heat on the Braves. They're playing great baseball, but 4-3, 91 wins, take your chance.
Well, here's the deal. You got a 2.5 game lead. They got to play perfect. You don't. They've got to come get you. They've got to be able to win out in order to have any kind of an opportunity, in my opinion, because the ball club the Rockies put on the field now, they have a chance to win every day.
Absolutely, and the guy they're putting on the hill today has a chance to win every day as well. Jorge De La Rosa will discuss what he's been doing of late when we return.
because he's been able to develop the hard slider and curveball and the ability to throw it for strikes when he's behind in the count. The key for him is to go out and try to do exactly what Jimenez didn't do. You don't want to go out and give up 3 early in a ball game against this Cardinal team. Matt Holliday's not in the lineup. He doesn't feel well. They still have Pujols. They still have Ludwig. They still have a very formidable lineup they're going to send at you.
And from the Rockies' perspective, continue the bad numbers for Kyle Loesch here at Coors Field. The table is set. The Rockies and Cardinals are ready to go. Come on back to Coors Field with us. FSN is brought to you by your neighborhood Toyota stores. Toyota moving forward. By E470 and Express Toll, the best way to save time and money. By Quest Business, get Quest, get nimble. And by your local Red Wing shoe store, where fit comes first. A glorious Sunday afternoon. The Rockies will have tomorrow off before this homestand continues with the Milwaukee Brewers. 7 ball games left. Tony La Russa, 14 years now as a Cardinals manager after working in Oakland and also with the Chicago White Sox. You know, he's 3 games shy of second on the all-time list of games managed. That is something else. John McGraw has managed 3 more ball games, or did manage, I should say. 3 more ball games. Amazing stuff. Here is the reconfigured Cardinals batting order. Julio Lugo, recently with the Red Sox, will lead off. Brendan Ryan in the 2-hole. Albert Pujols is in there. Then Ryan Ludwig, who hit a 2-run home run off the bench last night. Mark DeRosa, 5. Young player by Major League standards, David Freese, will be in the 6-hole. Jason LaRue playing for Molina behind the plate, who was injured last night. Tyler Green in center field. And and pitching is Kyle Loesch. And they'll face Jorge De La Rosa, who is trying to pick off his 16th win of the year.
Yeah, imagine that. 16th win of the year. We looked at the Fidelity scouting report on Mr. De La Rosa. 89-96, cut and sink away. Pretty good curveball. It's a big sweeper, 79-84, with this heavily right-handed hitting lineup that the Cardinals have. Should work well for him. Season single high in Rockies history batting average against. He's 5th. Right now, 4th at 254. Left-handers have only hit 208 against him. Mentioned earlier, 9 wins here at Coors Field. That, for him, leads the ball club.
And again, the key, George, just like Jimenez, get off to a good start. Get out of that first inning. So De La Rosa is finishing his warm-up pitches. We take a look at the Toyota defensive alignment for the Rockies. Seth Smith's in left field. Carlos Gonzalez slides to center. Brad Hobb in right. Stewart, Tulowitzki, Barnes, and Helton and Torrealba behind the plate. So the Cardinals celebrated last night in their clubhouse another Central Division crown. Some guys look like they celebrated a bit.
Well, as you should.
It's a long season. There's Albert Pujols on the top step. Julio Lugo from the Boston Red Sox came for Chris Duncan not all that long ago. A midsummer trade. And the first pitch of the ball game is in there for strike one. Home plate umpires Larry Vanover. And there was great controversy last night with Dan Iasagna, who's at third base in his strike zone. Sam Holbrook is at first, and Mike Winters is at second. This is in the air to shallow left field. Smith battling the sun.
Well, sun and wind. He's going to have a couple of things to deal with today. Sun and wind. The flags are kind of swirling at Coors Field today.
That'll bring up Brendan Ryan. We will try to keep you appraised of the situation in Washington. The Nationals leading Atlanta 3-2. They got off to a quick start against Derek Lowe. Ryan Zimmerman and Josh Willingham hit early back-to-back home runs. They're up 3-2 right now. Ryan stays off that, ball one. You know, on a team of stars led by Albert Pujols and now Matt Holliday joining the club. Good pitch. Guys like Brendan Ryan, George, and Skip Schumacher, who's not in the lineup this afternoon, they kind of fall beneath the radar. But if you watch him on a day in and day out basis, or like us, if you watch him after having not seen them for a few months, you are impressed.
Very impressed, particularly this young man's defense. I thought to watch his quick hands and work it. He's done a nice job at shortstop, hitting 288, hitting in the two-hole.
Take a look at the. I'm sorry, George. I was going to lead you.
Lead me down the road.
Keys to the game. George, what do you have?
It's only 23 years. Send me down there. Got to win the series. You lost the one the first, lost the second. Try to win this series. De La Rosa out on the hill. The right guy, 9 wins here in this ballpark. And don't leave him standing. What we're talking about last night, the Rockies left 11 men on base last night. They are 1 for 16 in the series. Is that correct? 0 for 16.
They're 0 for 16 in the series. 1 for 21 runners in scoring position the last 3 ball games. The last 4, 3 for 32. So you'd like to get some traffic and some knocks with people on base. Ball one on Albert Pujols. It's been pretty quiet in the series. You'd like it to remain that way. Fastballs down low, 2-0. Pujols third in the league in runs batted in. Been in the league 9 years. 9 years, 30+ home runs. 9 years, 300+ batting average. 9 years, 100+ RBIs. When you're on a list of 1 and you're it, you're pretty special.
Well, model of consistency. Left-handed 336, right-handed 327, home 326, road 332. Just a model of consistency when you're 4 or 5 point separation on every category on the average side of things.
Don't feed him a cookie because he'll be swinging. And on a 3-0 pitch, he pops it up to center field. Gonzalez has it, and a very nice start. 8 pitches, 3 fly balls. Off camera, Pujols spiked his helmet. Thought he had a pitch to hit. Bottom of the first inning, no score. The Rockies ready to go against the veteran Kyle Loesch. They haven't seen him in a couple of years. Jim Tracy, only 69-40 since he took over as Rockies manager. Carlos Gonzalez will lead it off. Seth Smith will be in the 2-hole. Then Helton, who had 3 knocks last night. Troy Tulowitzki hitting .373 the last 13 games. That's pretty good. Brad Hott was in the 7-hole last night, a home run and a double. He moves back to his customary 5-hole spot this afternoon. Torrealba, can't say enough about what he has done of late. Then Stewart, Barmes, who's swinging the bat well, and De La Rosa to face Loesch, George.
Yeah, Loesch on his Fidelity scouting report. The guy that won 15 games a year ago, 89, 93. He's battled injuries this year. The changeup, the sliders is outpitched along with that curveball over the top, 74-78. Circle change, 79-83, mostly against left-handers. He has really struggled out on the road this year. Not an easy play, but a play made by Jason LaRue. He's 1-5, 617 out on the road this year. His last 7 starts, he's gone 2-2, 667. He hasn't found the magic he had a year ago when he won 15 ball games. Although his last start over in Houston, reports I get from scouts, threw the ball pretty well over there. He went 6 innings, 5 hits, 3 runs. In that ballpark, kept the ball down in the zone, had a lot of ground ball outs.
So one pitch in the drag bunt attempt becomes an out, and Seth Smith will step up against Loesch. And he takes strike 1. And Smith rips it foul.
Teams continue to try to come inside on him, and I'll tell you what, he's quick to the inside part of the baseball.
You've seen him challenged on the inner half by left-handers with plus fastballs, and Smith's left the yard against him on the pull side. 0-2. Curveball, just missed, a little high.
Well, talking with some Dodger scouts prior to the ball game, they seemed to convince yesterday Wainwright probably threw 75% curveballs in the game. He kind of pitched away from the fastball.
This is a ground ball to Pujols. He'll jog to his bag. I'll tell you a story. The fact that St. Louis is not playing all their starters today after the celebration of last night, it is affecting their lineup in that Tyler Green, out of Fort Lauderdale originally, a guy they like a lot. He's a very good shortstop. George, the last time he played center field, high school.
And he's playing at Coors Field.
And he's playing at Coors Field. Folks, he didn't have any minor league games there. They haven't, run him out there on occasion. He has not played center field since high school. So you look at Matt Holliday, who's under the weather today. So we'll see how Tyler Green handles the Ponderosa, as my partner likes to call it.
That's a pretty big area to cover, but the 3 normal outfielders that play left field, or center field, Ankiel, Rasmus, and Schumacher, all left-handed bats, and they were going to put them in against De La Rosa today.
Inside 2-1. Here's the Toyota defensive alignment. So it's Ludwig and Mark DeRosa on the corners with Tyler Green. David Freese is at third base. Tyler can't play both spots. No way he could play short also. Lugo, Pujols, Jason LaRue behind the plate. It's Brendan Ryan at shortstop. You'd have to have ridiculously good range to play both short and center field.
Obviously got some wheels, got an arm. You got the arm to play there. It's just not an outfield type arm. It's a short arm action from short. A little bit longer arm action the other way.
Oh, Helton just snuck it by David Freese. His 4th hit in the last 2 days. The .320 average coming in. So he's aboard for Tulowitzki.
Sinker down and away. All he did just kind of soft serve it to the left side of the infield and shot it by Freese at third base. Playing off of the line. So again, way off the line with Todd Helton. You're just opening up another hole for him to take advantage of.
He's now 6 for 13 with a home run lifetime against Loesch. It'll give Tulowitzki an opportunity here in this first inning. He had his 9-game hitting streak snapped last night. He went 0 for 5. Tulowitzki splits are pretty close. He's hitting .305 at home. Overall, .288. So his road numbers have been very, very good also. The Rockies as a team hitting 50 points higher at Coors Field than they do out on the road, where they are 40 and 38.
Now, this is one area of a lineup that Kyle Loesch has been able to handle throughout the year. They're just hitting, the 4-hole hitters in the National League are hitting .163 against them. According to Doug Marino, the old hippie's back. He was down in New Mexico doing some work on a football game. Produced one down there yesterday.
Yeah, New Mexico State. New Mexico State got the better of the Lobos. 2 balls and a strike on Tulowitzki. Tulo 4 for 7 with a home run lifetime against Loesch. Two balls, 2 strikes. Tony La Russa, his 7th division title with the Cardinals. And in 2001, they finished in 2nd place and won the wild card. So 8 years to the postseason for La Russa's Cardinals. 2-2 on Tulowitzki. This ball is in the air to left center field, and it is going to drop and roll. So it was cut off by Green, and they're going to try to score Helton a bad hop, and he'll score, and Tulowitzki goes to 3rd. That ball was not cut off. Had it been George, they would have had a play on Helton at the plate.
Well, remember, you got inexperience out in the outfield, and the shortstop didn't go deep enough to shorten the throw for an inexperienced outfielder when you're talking about Tyler Green in center field, because it got by Ludwig in left field, and he was relying on Green to get to the baseball. Sinker down and in. Tulowitzki, nice job on the Hyundai Cam. Turn it on the inside, low fastball. Watch Ludwig as he gets over. He stumbles at the last second, not going to have a play on it. Tyler Green takes it, off balance throw, short hops. Brendan Ryan, he should have gone deeper. If he goes deeper into the outfield or shorten that throw up, they may have had that opportunity.
Now Brad Hopp takes ball 1 as the Rockies break on top 1-0. Tulowitzki, since September 12th, hitting .385, 6 home runs, 12 ribbies, 13 runs scored. I love what Jim Tracy said before the ball game. He said, you know, yesterday Brad was moved down to the 7th hole. It was very difficult. I mean, he loves Brad Hopp. Brad's one of the foundations of this club, and he said, you know what, he sent me a message back last night by hitting a 2-run home run and double, and I'm sending him a message today saying, I got your message, you're back where you belong in the 5-hole.
81 RBIs you don't ignore. You don't ignore the home runs. He's at his lifetime average right now as far as that goes at .285.
That's a strike on a breaking ball. 2-2. Tulowitzki at 3rd. It is a double, and he moved to 3rd on the throw. And now I guess, let me correct that. They're saying triple the whole way. Here's the 2-2. 3-2. So immediately the inexperience, not only of Tyler Green, but for Brendan Ryan, knowing Tyler Green's arm from center field.
Got to recognize what it is. The Rockies 60-17 when they score 1st on the year, so that's a good thing.
Atlanta has caught Washington. They're in the 7th inning. It's 3-3. Brad stayed with that pitch. Kyle Loesch already 22 pitches in. Torrealba on deck. And this is up the middle. Base hit. 2-0. Brad Hop coming through again. To all those people out there, George, wondering, would the Rockies play a little tighter? The lead just 2.5 on Atlanta. The Atlanta Braves have Washington 5 more times. De La Rosa terrific in the first inning, and the Rockies with two-out runs.
Well, the thing I noticed about it more than anything, that pitch was inside. Hop really got his hands inside the ball, took the ball right back up the middle, and they've answered. Ball game tied in Washington now, 3-3. That you see the Rockies put a statement of their own on the board.
And now Torrealba off the plate, ball 1. Torrealba's average at 289. Jorvik threw out a couple more hits last night. Something about critical moments in the month of September that works very well for Jorvik Torrealba.
George, 25 pitches in this inning, 10 for balls.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. And Loesch, even though he hasn't been here in a while, he knows he hasn't had any success here, and now he's still out on the mound. As you said, 25 pitches in, he's already down 2-0. Torrealba rips it foul. Richie Dower hopping out of the way.
Yeah, Loesch on the season's had 20 starts, 8 quality starts. He's 6-8. The team is 7-13 when he pitches. Averages just a little over 5 innings per start. A little over 5 innings, 5 strikeouts per start. The ball club has scored just a little bit over 4 runs per ball game, 4.2 when he's on the mound.
You know, George, we talked so much the last couple of days about Colby Rasmus playing a shallow center field. Now you have an inexperienced center fielder in Tyler Green. He's moved in a little bit, but a moment ago he was back near the warning track.
Well, I mean, obviously for him, it's easier to come in on the ball. It's easier for him to take angles into the gap that way. I'm sure they talked to him before the ball game. You know, I don't think you get back on balls as easy as you can. The fly to the ball at Coors Field is different than anywhere else. And what made it harder for him, they did not have batting practice on the field today to where he could shag some balls to see what it would be like.
Torrealba gone. Brad Hop, a 2-out knock. Tulowitzki's triple brought home help. Good start, 2-0. Auto update, Alana. You have sunscreen on.
It is absolutely perfect for a baseball game down here. It's always perfect for a baseball game. The sun is very nice.
It's beautiful. You didn't answer my question. We're concerned up here.
No, I don't have sunscreen on. I'm sorry.
Put some on.
My mom's here, so I'm sure I need to hurry up and put it on.
Okay.
Wanted to talk about De La Rosa, though. It's not about the sunscreen, really. I talked to Jason Marquis, actually, about the improvements that Jorge De La Rosa has made throughout the season. I remember talking about with you guys in terms of how De La Rosa reminds Marquis of himself when Marquis was a younger pitcher. He said the one thing I've noticed with him, as we've been talking about for several weeks now, is the mental side of his game has improved dramatically. He says he doesn't let like a bad umpire call, ruin his mojo out there on the mound. He said he takes things in stride, realizes he doesn't have to strike out every single batter. If you watch somebody, it's not the end of the world. He said his stuff has always been there, but it's the maturity in the mental game that has really impressed Jason Marquis, a guy that reminds him a lot of himself. Drew and George?
Well, I think early on, to pick up your point, Alana, because when Jason Marquis first came up, he was a very hard thrower. In fact, Marquis, when he was signed out of high school, touched 98, 99. Ryan Ludwig at the plate. 1-2 on Ludwig.
Last night hit the home run off Daly on a curveball that was down very low out of the strike zone. It had pretty good bite to it. Left the yard to left field and got out in a hurry. Good pitch by Daly. I mean, sometimes hitters will, until you say they hit your mistakes. That really wasn't a mistake. That was a pretty good pitch.
He's got 5 home runs at Coors Field in his last 4 ball games. Sam Holbrook says no swing.
Let's see if he proves my point.
Two and 2 on Ludwig, and that's down 3-2. Ludwig 12 for 25 in his career at 20th and Blake. Leading off the second inning, he'll be followed by Mark DeRosa, David Freese, and he got him. Nasty slider. And George, he's breaking out the whole repertoire early in the game.
Got to win a ball game. Got to bring everything out. You got power hitters at the plate. You got guys that can leave the yard. You're not going to just sit there going a 3-2 count. I'm going to force a fastball at 92, 93. You're going to put a pretty good pitch on him. That appeared to be the split finger more than the slider. It had good dive on the baseball.
Here's Mark DeRosa against Jorge De La Rosa.
They talked about the pickup of Matt Holliday and what he's meant to this or meant to their ball club. But let me tell you something. DeRosa, since he's been picked up, put his numbers together. 23 and 78. He's a pretty good player. Has not made an error since he's put on a National League uniform. He had 9 in the American League.
That hit him. Yeah, you do have to make some sort of effort to get out of the way, don't you, George?
He did a little bit. He got nicked.
Just enough. Well, let's go to Washington and get a highlight from the Braves-Nationals game. This is Adam LaRoche at the plate.
She drives that one right
the former Brave, who's now current Brave in his second tour, lines one off the scoreboard. And Yunel Escobar is going to come all the way around to score. That ties up the game. Pretty close play at the plate. That came against Livan Hernandez, who pitched briefly for the Rockies last year, and he could help them today. We got a balk.
Obviously, 2-0 ball game. You just can't have these kind of mistakes. Rotates it, and the ball drops out of his hand. He's trying to rotate it on his fingertips versus up inside the hand to get the right grip that he wanted on the baseball.
David Freese is at the plate.
1 for 12 against left-handers. First balk of the season against De La Rosa.
Swung on a miss by Freese. Freese is from Wildwood, Missouri. It's a suburb of St. Louis. He went to Lafayette High School, which is the same high school that one Ryan Howard went to. Freese has pretty good pop. Here's the 1-1. That's in there at 94 miles an hour. He's got it. Good pitching by De La Rosa. George, he has got a pretty even split balls to strikes, but he's been able to make the big pitch so far early in this baseball game.
Well, hard slider's been the pitch, that and the changeup, split finger. 183 strikeouts now for De La Rosa. That's 4th on the all-time list, single season, chasing Jimenez this year in 09 with 188.
So Jason LaRue stepped into the ball game last night and ended up with the game-winning RBI, a home run off of Ubaldo Jimenez. And he takes strike one.
Slider that stayed out over the middle of the plate. At the time, the ball game was tied. It wasn't tied after the swing to left field by Jason LaRue on a ball that was out over the plate at 85 miles an hour.
Ubaldo gave up 3 runs in the first, a sloppy first, and then had a shutout going to the 7th inning when he led off with that home run. 0-2 on Jason. It was his first home run, his only other home run since May. He does a lot of catching these days in the bullpen. Yadier Molina leads all big league catchers in innings caught. Torrealba moved late. And pitch just off the corner, 1-2.
Moved because I think he thought it was strike three. He was ready to roll the ball.
Swung on and missed at De La Rosa on a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. Fans Jason LaRue. If the Rockies score 7 or more runs during any ball game, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day between 4 and 6. Get 4 tacos for $1. That's a steal. Hopefully today they run up a big bill at Taco Bell. Our friends there would love to give away tacos tomorrow. See the Rockies with a big number on the scoreboard, and they're off to a nice start. Ian Stewart, Clint Barmas, and then De La Rosa. Loesch through 27 7 pitches in the first inning. Rockies got him with 2 outs. Helton single, Tulowitzki triple, Brad Hopp single. That's in there for a strike on Ian Stewart, who is typically patient at the plate.
Yeah, whatever he wants. Lou wants it down in the dirt. Ooh, curveball, inner half.
Strike 3. So Stewart never did swing the bat, and he's gone. That's the second strikeout for Kyle Loesch.
Well, if you don't already have season tickets, let me tell you what the best way to do to postseason tickets and to make sure that you get those is put a deposit down on your 2010 season ticket. Deposit guarantees priority to league championship and World Series games. 303 Rockies, or go online to ColoradoRockies.com. Put that deposit down and get ready for the postseason.
Clint Barmas takes ball 1. Boy, has he ever been hot. Nine for 18 on the homestand. And there's a swinging bunt. Loesch jumps on it, throws the first in time. Pretty good move off the mound, George.
Very good move off the mound, but I also want to watch Albert Pujols at first base. One of the hardest things to do at first is the footwork. Loesch is very quick off the mound. He did this very fundamentally sound. Planted that back foot, came straight up and did it. But if you watch how Pujols had the left foot so he could take the ball to the inside where the runner's coming opposite of him. And as the throw started to cross over in front of the runner, he just kind of shuffled the feet over, made the play, and made it look real simple. He and Todd Helton do that better than most or any first baseman in the game.
Strike 1 on De La Rosa. Fifths it to second base. Brendan Ryan sidearms it to Pujols. And it's a much better inning in the second for Kyle Loesch. Rockies lead it 2-0. We move on to inning number 3. Outstanding results by Dex. Take the sport out of finding local information with Dex. What you need when you need it, in print and online at DexKnows.com. And by Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. Gorgeous Sunday afternoon. So far, so good. The Rockies leading the Cardinals 2-0. Jorge De La Rosa against Kyle Loesch, still 3-3 in Washington. Atlanta and the Nationals tied up there in the 8th inning there. Hey, during every Sunday home game, FSN is teaming up with ColoradoDads.com for the Be There for Your Kids baseball experience. To learn more about the baseball experience, go to ColoradoDads.com. Leading off will be Tyler Green.
Who do we have? We got guests in the booth.
We have guests in the booth, yeah.
One really good looking. Like the hair. Who did the hair today?
Mom
did the hair, didn't she?
Yes, she did.
Patrick Litzow and Noah. And Noah just turned 2?
Just turned 2, end of July.
Who is that? Noah?
Where do you see right
now? Yeah, that's you, isn't it?
Green fouls off the first pitch. Good deal. What's up, Noah? You're a handsome devil. You've been doing a good job brushing those teeth also.
Yep.
Because those are pearly
Look
white.
Behind you, baby sister's right behind us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are they twins?
They are.
I was going to say, they look pretty close in age.
Yeah.
George, nothing gets by me.
Nothing.
What do you think of your sister?
I was just always told that when they come in pairs, you might want to think about stopping. You may have a whole bunch come in pairs.
I had a lot
Twins
more
in the
hair.
family?
No.
Uh-oh.
No, I had a lot more hair a couple years ago, though.
I said the same thing. This is a swinging bunt also. De La Rosa jumps on it. He's got to fire it. He does. And Tyler Green is retired. That'll bring up Kyle Loesch. Now, you guys have a question. What's your question?
Yeah, this close to the playoffs, we were curious how you think the Rockies match up, who they match up best with.
Well, I think for me, it's the Cardinals, to be honest with you, because of all the left-handed pitching in Philadelphia, and really the strongest offensive lineup the Rockies have is a left-handed hitting lineup. And so I think it matches up a little bit better against St. Louis. So you might be getting a preview here and what's going to happen here hopefully in about 8 days, 9 days.
Well, there's great storylines either way from that perspective, but I would agree with George that Philadelphia lines up all those good left-handed pitchers. You got Lee and Hamels and J. Happ, who's going to be in the running for Rookie of the Year in the National League. And the Rockies are a predominantly left-handed hitting lineup. But you know what? Philadelphia's beating Milwaukee. Milwaukee will be in here for 3 beginning Tuesday. You just want to get in. And once you get in, if you want to get to the top of the ladder, you got to beat everybody.
I always say that, when you're fortunate enough to be in a couple of World Series in the playoff, regardless of when you start playing, you got to beat them all.
Yeah.
You just like to, I don't think there's, at that point with 4 teams that are the best teams in the National League, there's not really a cupcake anyway.
He's got a great smile. Swung on a miss, 2-2. You're a happy kiddo, aren't you? Look at that! Look at that smile.
On cue.
Yeah.
It's all Mom's fault. He got the looks from Mom.
Good deal. What's up, buddy? Here's the 2-2 to Loesch. Back at De La Rosa. It's going to turn into a base hit. Fortunately, Jorge got the leather up.
Yeah, you're very fortunate on that reaction at that time from about 55 feet from where you released the baseball. The glove caught his glove on the line drive right back up the middle. As a pitcher, it's just kind of the only defense you have is to throw that up into the air, and he did just that. It happens quickly, folks.
So the first knock of the game from the 9-hole hitter, the opposition pitcher. 1 out and 1 on. Julio Lugo at the plate. Ball 1.
Are you talking to me? I thought I heard you. Or was that him? Was it your puppy?
Is that Buddy?
Was that Buddy? Is Buddy your buddy?
Patrick, I have a question for you.
Yes,
You asked me. Right now, Noah's got something in his hand. It looks awfully. It looks an awful lot like the car keys. Is that accurate?
That'd be true.
Now, are these are your only 2 children, your twins, right?
Correct.
Let me give you a little advice here, okay? Because a diamond ring of my wife's once went bye-bye when my son was that age. He just like playing with him. Ground ball, knocked down by Tulowitzki, no play. If you don't want to be calling a cab on the way home? You might substitute toy for him.
You know, Drew lost the diamond ring, and my son, who's 30 years old, lives in Tulsa and has 2 grandchildren. He called me one day and he said, you know,
hold up, back up. You just said your son, who's 30, has 2 grandchildren.
No, I have
you have 2
grandchildren.
grandchildren.
But Cooper is kind of into everything, and his bathroom stool got backed up. I said, well, call a plumber. And he said, no, you know how to fix it. It's either Spider-Man or somebody went swimming and didn't make it. and Popo had to come to the rescue. But those keys are going to end up somewhere. I'm going to bet you $1 you can't hit the guy on the 3rd row with those keys. Just kidding. Hang on, no, just kidding. I was just kidding.
And now this gets away. No, it hit him. And now you got a big problem.
Second slider just came on the inside part of the plate.
I got to refocus here. Bases loaded. Albert Pujols coming up.
Well, a lot of times, Drew, when you get a ball hit back at you like that, it's kind of a little shock value as a pitcher. I mean, it's just, you know, there you start to wonder a little bit about where things are. Well, it's going to be ruled. So it's going to bounce, and it's going to catch him right there. Just got him right on the shin. You know, you mentioned trouble. Listen to this. Albert Pujols is 9 for 14 with the bases loaded. I know you don't want to hear this. 9 of those hits, 5 are home runs.
Yeah, he's got 5 grand slams this year. That's
not right.
That's not what you want to hear. Rockies up 2-0, 1 out. And De La Rosa misses ball 1. He fell behind Pujols 3-0. Pujols swung at the 3-0 pitch and hit a fly ball to center field.
Do you want to go run the camera?
This all began with a 1-out line drive base hit by Loesch off of De La Rosa's glove. And an infield hit and a hit batter, and this is line to right center field. That's a base hit, and it's going to at least tie up the game. The trail runner's Ryan. He gets a green light. He's going to score. Pujols has done it again. A 3-run double, and the Cardinals lead it 3-2.
Well, he hits the ball so hard into the gap. You know, it's a line drive hit out there, and you're thinking, all right, slow down. But look at the pitch. Just look at it. It's down. It's in the inner half, but you're into the pretty strong spurt of his. Very wide stance by Albert, but he generates so much upper body strength. This ball 1-2 hops. It's all the way out to the wall. All Hop can do is give a chase to it. He fielded it cleanly, and the strongest arm in the outfield made the throw back in. They just had speed running when it left the bat. They get a good read off of that.
Ryan Ludwig at the plate.
He was some kind of special player. Albert Pujols, 34 RBIs and 16 at-bats with the bases loaded. Are you kidding me?
He is the best player in the game for me, and I don't know how many people would argue with that.
If you did, you're not going to have a very good argument. You know, this guy is just phenomenal.
It's a joke. It's a joke how talented he is. He just keeps backing it up year after year. And he takes off for third. Throw to third, safe there. That's his 15th stolen base. This is Albert Pujols. He's a 240-pound middle-of-the-order hitter. And he's got 15 stolen bases, the most on the Cardinals. And now a fly ball scores him, or a routine ground ball.
He's looking at Jose Oquendo like, you going to give me anything here? You going to help me out a little bit? Look at him. He's sitting right here. And here's Jose's back over here coaching third base. And it's like, as soon as the leg got picked up, he took off. 15 stolen bases now. With 1 out, it's big, folks, because fly ball scores a run if you get it deep enough into the outfield.
The infield shortens up a little bit. And it's fouled off. De La Rosa working ahead now 1-2. He has the ability to get strikeouts. He averages better than a strikeout per inning pitch. One of the top strikeout artists in the National League. He needs one here. How quickly an inning can get away. You have the 8-hole hitter leading off. You get him on a comebacker. You have the pitcher next. You're feeling really good about a quick inning. Next thing you know, they got a 3-spot up.
I had a little bit of tendency to do this the other day when he got frustrated. And so he started to try to speed the game up instead of slow the game down. You know, that sounds crazy, but The last thing you want to do is speed it up so much that you're out of whack with your delivery. Your arm slot doesn't repeat itself. You want to slow it back down again, give you a chance to get everything in position for the punch out.
And now it's full, 3-2. Clearly he overthrew those last 2 fastballs.
Well, what they'll say in pitching coach terms, he's running away from his arm. In other words, that front side's flying so fast, the arm drags and it's on the outer part of the body, and so naturally that's the flight of the ball to the plate versus keeping the front shoulder closed longer.
You know, you've got 2+ games with Albert Pujols not doing much. 2 singles on Friday night. Did not have a knock last night. You're wondering, can you be so fortunate as to have the Cardinals come through town and not feel the wrath of Albert Pujols? Well, the answer is an emphatic no.
Well, you can't build the opportunity for him either.
That's the key. They get him. No swing. I thought it may have been on the pitch.
I think it was sold on Ludwig, don't you? I mean, he just dropped the bat and started running to first base out in front. Larry Vanover checked it quickly. Now Padaka's going to go out and try to calm him down a little bit. Let's look at this side shot of the swing to see if he did go around. Did he hold the hands up, or did they get all the way through? And he did. You know, on that replay there, he didn't do it.
You know, last night in the first inning, Jimenez walked 2 and paid for it. A bloop single and a fairly sharply hit ground ball produced 2 runs. But again, the ball really wasn't squared up. But the fact that 2 freebies were handed out cost Jimenez last night and ultimately the Rockies. Well, in this inning, you have a hit batter and a walk. You go back to last inning when De La Rosa was facing DeRosa, he hit him. You just can't, at this level against this kind of lineup, at this time of year,
regardless of their celebration last night.
Yeah, you just can't put people on base, make them earn their way on. And now you have a very professional bat in Mark DeRosa up there.
1 for 4 against Mr. De La Rosa. And 1 hit, a home run.
Ball 1.
Yeah, the only thing he's thinking about now is get the ball airborne. He doesn't want a ball on the ground anywhere because that'll obviously put him out. The one thing that De La Rosa's trying to do, either go split finger or hard slider and get him to top or roll over the top of a baseball and induce that double play.
Two and one.
DeRosa this year 11 ground ball double plays that he's hit into. Combined between the American League and National League, Matt Belisle has started to throw in the Rockies bullpen.
I remember DeRosa couldn't get out of De La Rosa, couldn't get out of the third inning against the Padres in his last outing. He's in that same spot. He went just 2 1/3 in his last outing. That was after the absolute gem, the game of his life he threw at the Giants at AT&T Park. 8 shutout innings, just 3 hits, struck out 9. This has been his most difficult inning all year. And it's 3-1. He's given up 23 runs in the third inning, and with the 3 today, it's 26. That's 10 more than the next most runs he's allowed in an inning. Infield looking for 2. Ball 4. Now he's walked him full. And you got David Freese, who struck out his first time up. A young player at the big league level, Jim Tracy pacing. 2 outstanding innings, 1, 2, 3 on 8 pitches in the first by De La Rosa. He struck out the side in the second, with the exception of 1 base runner. That was the De Rosa hit by pitch. But now the bases are loaded for the second time in the inning. Rockies trailing 3-2. David Freese at the plate. Two-strike count. This is Freese's 21st at bat at the big league level. Albert Pujols, a bases clearing 3-run double. A few hitters back. He's standing at third base. Ryan Ludwig walked. He's at second. Mark DeRosa walked. He is at first.
That's frustrating when you get a guy 0-2 and all of a sudden you continue to make those pitches. Good pitches, just off of the plate, just nicks the bat. Hard slider in, just tops enough of it to keep the at bat alive. And it's difficult to keep going back in there. Now you want to change the pattern. You want to elevate a fastball, but if you do elevate it up high enough, you can't do something with it. Don't try to go belt high with it, but just to give him another look, then go back to the breaking ball. Wants a slider down and in. Well, it took a lot of discipline on Freese's part, a guy that doesn't play very often, not to take an offering at that pitch.
Jason LaRue is on deck. A little more tension than the Rockies wanted here in the third inning. Got it. That's the second out. That'll bring up LaRue, who also struck out his first time.
Well, take a look at the pitch. It's a hard slider, and then watch where it goes. This ball's going to dive. It's going to dive right at the right time. The others were not in the strike zone. This ball was going to be in the strike zone. Good pitch.
He overmatched LaRue, George, with the heater in the first at bat.
Well, learn from that.
And it's a pop-up down the right field line. Long run for Hop and Barmes makes the catch. In the inning, Albert Pujols comes through with the bases loaded. Doesn't he always, it seems like. A 3-run double, and the Cardinals have a 3-2. 2 St. Louis, bottom of the 3rd inning. The Rockies will have the top of the order against Kyle Loesch, our Geico quote of the day. From Tommy Lasorda about the only problem with success is that it does not teach how to deal with failure. But anybody who gets to this level, George, has dealt with failure at some point in time, individually or collectively.
You know, it's amazing.
This is a humbling game.
You know what? It's amazing that I think people could apply it to everyday walk of life. When you didn't get the promotion, you didn't get the area maybe you wanted as a salesman. There's a lot of things that go on that you got to deal with the failure side of things, but failure makes you better. It really does. Makes you a better player, better person.
1 strike count on Carlos Gonzalez, who tried to bunt his way on his first time up and popped it up. That's a strike also, 0-2. Well, the good news with the Rockies trailing 3-2, George, I would be shocked if 3 runs wins this game. This is high in the air to right center field. Did Gonzalez get it? Nope.
Long run for DeRosa. He's over there going, hey, where's that center fielder at that used to play out here? And Green playing at center field. Drew's documented it very well in the first part of the game. Green's never played center field since high school. This ball just seemed to carry. I was interested to see how the wind, the flags would handle this. But ball hit extremely hard. It may have got knocked down a little bit. The wind's kind of a crosswind today, not typical of Coors Field.
So with 1 out, Seth Smith will come up. He hit a ground ball to Albert Pujols. And he fires a dart, strike 1. Smith's never seen Kyle Loesch before. On the back door, 0-2.
A lot of people can throw the backdoor slider. It's harder to put tilt on a baseball and for a right-hander to throw it back doors as they did there.
Tried to go there again. George, I would think, correct me if I'm wrong, but especially when you're throwing off the first base side of the rubber as a right-handed pitcher.
Shooting it straight across at you. I mean, it's kind of a crossfire to you, and it's a little bit weird to do, but you got to have great arm action to do it, and he does it.
In the air to left. Easy play for Ludwig. Windshield cracked. Don't wait. Call Colorado's #1 team, Elite Safelite Auto Glass, 303-287-5000, or visit safelight.com. Todd Helton steps up. Talking about his Gold Glove candidacy, Todd owns 3 of them. Right now, he's tied for the league lead in fielding percentage with Adam LaRoche, who's not generally thought of as a real slick first baseman. It's an easy play, you think, for Tyler Green, but he's never been out there. Makes the catch. 1-2-3 inning. Rockies trailing 3-2 as we go to the 4th.
energy fun fact, and this one deals with St. Louis Cardinals third base coach Jose Oquendo. He was signed by the New York Mets actually as a free agent in 1979 at the ripe young age of 15 years old. Now, when he made his debut with the Mets in the major leagues in 1983, he became the first player in franchise history to be younger than the franchise. And what I mean by that, the Mets began play in 1962. Oquendo was born in 1963, so he wasn't even alive when the Mets started their franchise, guys.
I remember Jose Oquendo when he played with the Mets. Jose was a good player. You know, I was kidding Jose this morning, George, because in baseball circles, people know that Jose Oquendo is a great golfer. Not a good golfer, a great golfer. And I said, where do you got that handicap down to? +1? I thought I was giving him a couple, George, because during the season I'm thinking, maybe he doesn't get to play as much. In the air to center field. He said, no, I'm at +2 right now.
Unbelievable player.
Yeah, evidently.
He really is. He's a very, very, very good player. Maybe there's another guy in their dugout's pretty good too, John Smoltz.
Yeah, that'd be a pretty good matchup. We have to. I wonder who wins that. Smoltz is buddies with Tiger Woods. You think Tiger helps him every once in a while?
Probably has an in with some pretty good clubs, a few extra balls.
This is the guy who got it started, Kyle Loesch, last inning with what you hope was a harmless single off De La Rosa's glove. It didn't prove to be too harmless. You know, the similarities, George, it's 3-0 now on Loesch. The similarities between Jimenez's first inning and De La Rosa's third inning, for me, are eerie in that last night, 3 runs on 2 hits in the first inning against Jimenez. The last inning was 3 runs on 3 hits, but 2 of the hits didn't leave the infield.
Well, that's the hardest part about it.
It's the additional traffic that you supplied. Loesch has to stay put. It's 3-2. He's taken the whole way. They're going extra innings in Washington, tied at 3, the Braves and Nationals. And he just walked Loesch. Affleck trivia question. Who are the 2 active players with 4,000 or more plate appearances and a .330 career average or better? Think about that. We'll provide you with an answer in a little bit. Julio Lugo at the plate. Lugo tried to bunt his way on. That goes foul.
Well, Kyle Loesch is a guy that base hit early in the ball game. He walked in this at bat, American League pitcher for about 7 of his early years, off and on, back and forth with Minnesota Twins.
Yeah, last time the Rockies saw Julio Lugo was the World Series of '07 when he was playing for the Red Sox. Oh, 2. Lugo's been around. Came up with Houston in 2000. Went to Tampa midway 2003. And briefly in '06 with both Tampa and the Dodgers. Last 2.5 years with the Red Sox, and now on to St. Louis. Here's the 0-2, and this should be an easy double play if you can field it. I knew that was going to happen.
That's
Boy,
one of those.
You could see it coming a mile away.
Well, anytime you get a ball that's rolling right over the top of the bag, you're thinking about coming forward, but you have the runner coming right at you too. It's not making any excuses. You just got to be able to field the ball. The trouble is, infielders are used to taking ground balls on the first or second hop. This was like the third or fourth hop. It was high, short, short, short before it got to Tulowitzki. So this ball coming over, and he's thinking about, all right, I get my feet set, catch the baseball, touch the bag, and flip it to first base. Didn't happen.
You got the same deal happening, George. It's unbelievable. A rare error by Tulowitzki. 2 on, 1 out. Brendan Ryan's at the plate, and look who's on deck.
And who do you think is going to try to work this at bat the best he can to get Albert Pujols to the plate again?
He's going to get Pujols to the plate with the bases loaded again. Unbelievable.
And Bilal's trying to get it going. He was ready in his previous time in that inning that he got in trouble there. Now you just buy a little bit more time. Jim Tracy's still sitting in the dugout looking out to the mound, contemplating on what to do.
Well, the place that you want the ball hit to Troy Tulowitzki, a Gold Glove caliber shortstop, that didn't work out. So rare that that happens. And now a base hit behind it. And the last guy anybody wants to face in any critical situation is at the plate. His numbers with the bases loaded this year are silly good.
10 for 15, 5 grand slams, 16 at bats, I think it is total. That's it, Shay. 10 for 60. And this guy's got 34 RBIs and 16 at bats. Are you kidding me?
It's time for him to make an out. How about making 2 outs? Here's the 0-1. I'm glad Larry Vanover's behind the plate, and I'm not trying to take a backhanded shot, or maybe I am, because Vanover's been around, and if it's a strike, it's going to be called a strike, and he's not going to, I think, glance up and say, "Oh, that's Albert Pujols," if it's a borderline pitch.
See, sometimes it goes both ways, and what I'm saying about that is, Sagna last night didn't ring him up in a first inning on a pitch was clearly a strike. We showed it from every angle, overhead, sideways, center field, everything. And maybe he was intimidated by Albert Pujols, intimidated by who it is, intimidated by the situation. I don't know that. I'm just throwing it out there from my personal experience. But I also know as a young pitcher, when I had to face a Joe Morgan or a Pete Rose, I didn't get the corner. It didn't happen, regardless of who you were and how many wins you had, and regardless of who was behind the plate at the time.
Here's the 2-1, and it's 3-1. Well, Albert's going to sit on location, and he's got everything in his favor. I don't think he gets a fastball here. Do you, George?
Well, you know what? It would be interesting to see what he will go with. He did go with a fastball.
A slider.
85 at slider, yeah. Trying to take it to the back part of the plate. Got Albert on the front foot. Jim Tracy got up off that porch and he's walking around pacing, trying to get him through this couple of outs here in the 4th inning. Base hit here probably in the day for De La Rosa. And we'll see Matt Bilal in to face Ludwig.
Well, you like to say sometimes, good enough 3-1, good enough 3-2.
Absolutely.
Popped him up foul out of play. And he went with the heater at 96 that was out of the zone, but
well out of the zone.
Jumped on.
Yep, well out of the zone. Pujols not passing up an opportunity with the bases loaded. That's pretty obvious. But after an 85-mile-an-hour changeup, he elevated 11 miles an hour in the fastball and elevated the location of the pitch.
That's how good he is, George. A lot of guys, most people don't get to that pitch.
Now, the other thing about Albert, once he starts his motion and that bat's coming through, he's going to try to make contact on the baseball. It's tough for him to hold up as strong as he is.
Talking to Matt Holliday during the pregame about Albert Pujols, and he said, watching him from afar and now watching him up close, he goes, obviously you knew he was a great player, the best in the game. He said if it's possible, he's even better than I thought. He said he literally does not miss a mistake, and most of the time he said he doesn't just hit it hard, he hits it out of the ballpark.
Tulowitzki, push back both hands, tell him stay back, get on the back leg, get your arm up.
Got him. That goes flying. Albert Pujols on a slider fans, and De La Rosa wins that enormous battle. But he's not out of the woods yet.
Remember, change-up he fouled off, high heater he fouled off, and then he came with that hard slider down and in. Look at Albert's eyes closed on the pitch after contact, and then the bat takes off. It ends up farther than the dugout, up into the seats, and then the mad dash to get Albert Pujols' bat. Great pitch by De La Rosa.
I want to point out two things. First of all, George, just how strong Pujols is. Not too many people can throw a bat that far. Secondly, all the adrenaline. You can't lose it now with Ludwig at the plate. He hits the strike zone there because you still have the bases loaded. You have a guy at the plate who has 22 home runs and 92 RBIs.
He's 8 for 18 with the bases loaded and 20 RBIs on that total too. Pretty good numbers for him in this situation.
And I hate to pass this along, but Atlanta just scored a run in the 10th inning against Washington. They're up 4-3. One and one. Tulowitzki calls time. 80 pitches in. De La Rosa. You know, the starting pitching for the Rockies, which has been tremendous, and you can underline and capitalize tremendous, for 5+ months, has hit a little bit of a rough patch here in the last week against San Diego. And a little bit last night. Jimenez gives up 4 runs in 7 innings. Which will work many nights at Coors Field, but not when you're facing a guy like Adam Wainwright.
Well, you can't do it when you're facing Wainwright. You can't do it, really. You just can't give guys head starts on good baseball teams. If you do, it's just could end up being a very bad situation, and it has, and it's shown. And you just can't do it. 2 fastballs in a row, just missed off the corner.
Let's see where he goes here. 2-1. On Ludwig. 3-1. He went slider, wasn't close.
Pretty good eye.
And it's now 6-3 Atlanta.
What happened?
What happened is Washington's not very good, George.
No, they're not.
What's got to happen is the Rockies have to take care of their own business. Here's the 3-1. Strike 2. Everybody will be moving now. 3-2, 2 outs. The Cardinals, for the 3rd time in the ball game, have the bases loaded. '83 pitches in for De La Rosa, many of them high stress pitches. He got it. Strike 3, just locked up Ludwig. De La Rosa gets Pujols and Ludwig to keep it a 1-run ball game. He must feel like he's pitched a doubleheader already. We're just in the 4th. 3-2 is the score, and Tony La Russa got 3 innings out of Tyler Green in center field. He figures De La Rosa's not long for the ball game, so Colby Rasmus is now in center field. This date in history brought to you by Dex. September 27, 1998, in the season finale, Mark McGwire ends the historic season hitting number 69 and 70 as the Cardinals beat the Expos. You remember them? Last home run came off Carl Pavano, who's still pitching. Tulowitzki leading things off, and that is a base hit to center field.
A lot of times your offense will feed off of your starting pitcher. When the base is loaded, De La Rosa punches out the 3-hole hitter, Albert Pujols, and then Ludwig right behind him. Combined this year, 54 RBIs with the bases loaded. Able to work out of that, it can give you momentum in the dugout and fire you up as an offensive team.
I got a question for you, George. You sent De La Rosa back out for the 5th inning.
And I think that's going to be a difficult choice as you work your way down, see what the offense puts out. He's throwing 80-some-odd pitches. Right. I get all right-handed hitters coming up till you get all the way back down to Rasmus. He's the 4th hitter. So, I mean, those are things Jim Tracy's got to be talking about, talking to Tommy Runnels. Who's he want to pinch hit with early? Lyle's warmed up twice. Shouldn't take long for him to go.
Here's the 1-0 to Brad. And Hop takes a healthy cut. 1 ball, 1 strike. Brad, an RBI single in the 1st inning. Until that hit by Tulowitzki, Loesch had retired 7 in a row. Hop's single in the 1st, the first time the Rockies got a base hit in this series with a runner in scoring position. They're now 1 for 18 in the series. That will need to improve with the Rockies trailing 3-2. Long way to go, 4th inning. Up high. Balls and a strike. Loesch has made just a couple of starts since coming off the disabled list. He had a groin injury. A couple of nagging injuries this year.
He's averaged just over 5 innings per start this year, 5 1/3.
Yeah, I was warming to that, George. He's typically not a guy that's going to work deep in a game, at least this year. See if Tulo's going here. 3-1. He takes off. Big jump. That was a strike. Tulo is in there. That is number 19 for Troy Tulowitzki.
Big jump for him. The pitch a little bit high. Hop thought it was ball 4. Throw offline. Tulowitzki just outran it.
One bag from being a 20-20 guy or a 30-20 guy. He's got 30 home runs. 30 home runs, 19 stolen bases. Had his 9th triple of the year earlier. And Hop pulls it. Pujols thought about going to 3rd. And then he'll go to Loesch. But Brad Hopp does his job by moving the tying run to third base with less than 2 outs. Well, let's go to our nation's capital again. Omar Infante with a soft single to center field. It got it done. 2 runs come around. It is now a final. The Braves win 6-3. They are the hottest team in baseball. They've won 6 consecutive ball games as they sweep the Nationals, and they're just 2 back in the wild card race. So pressure on the Rockies to keep pace. Tulowitzki struck out his first time up, and he waves at that pitch. The Marlins, George, were next up for Atlanta. Lost 4-0 in Miami today to the Mets. And the reason I mention that is the Marlins is pretty much, they've fallen out of it. And you just hope that the players don't go on vacation this week against Atlanta.
Well, that's exactly right. I know they're going to see West, a big left-hander, 6'8", that's got some nasty stuff, is going to pitch in that series against Atlanta. They're going back home. Not sure who the Braves have up in the rotation for the Atlanta Braves down in Atlanta.
Tulowitzki does not look comfortable at the plate against Loesch.
Breaking balls. Here they come running in. They'll do that, too, defensively. They ran their entire infield in with an opportunity. They played back, saying, I'm going to give up the run. And then the middle of the infield just took off flying. I mean, they started out back here. Both guys on the pitch came on.
They do a lot of different things under Tony La Russa. They had put the wheel play on last night, and then they'll stop, George. Make you think that that the wheel's on, bunt defense.
See, here they come. They're coming again. Aiming on the grass, waiting on the play to be made, the pitch to be made.
Almost hit him, 3-2.
Yeah, that time
Stewart on deck.
Guessing break the ball away that he's looked pretty silly on a couple of pitches, and they ran the heater in. Did a good job.
Fouled off, maybe playable for Pujols. It is not.
The rotation in Atlanta, it'll be Sanchez versus Jurgens, Vandenhert versus Hudson, and Nolasco versus Vasquez.
I keep coming back to it. It's on the Rockies. The Rockies have the lead. Atlanta has gone on a tremendous run. Remember, the Rockies finished 14 out of 15 in 07. They've won 14 out of 16. This is popped up and drifting back toward the Rockies dugout, and again, fortunately, it's out of play. They fake that they're coming in, and the infield staying back. And this ball again is fouled off down the right field line.
Well, then pay attention now. If you don't already have season tickets, the best way to guarantee your postseason tickets is to make a 2010 deposit on season tickets for the year 2010. Deposit guarantees priority league championship and World Series games. 303 Rockies, or go online to ColoradoRockies.com.
Strike three. Loesch strikes out Torrealba. That's the second out of the inning. And now Stewart will have to come through with 2 outs. Stewart in his first at bat never swung the bat. He was caught looking. Tulowitzki led off with a single, stole second, moved to third on a right side ground ball inside. Rockies 2 in the first. We've seen them score quick before, George, and then not be able to add on. You don't want it to be one of those days.
No, and it looks like typically what teams do, they change some things around after that very first round through the lineup. I mean, the team's pitching takes a different course of action of where they're going to go at the hitters. Evident the first 2 starters, Carpenter and Wainwright, a lot of curveballs in tight situations. First pitch, fastball in. Next pitch, breaking ball up in the zone. 2-0 on Stewart.
(3-0) with Barmes on deck. On the fastball, it didn't look like he had much intent to pitch to Stewart.
Well, after he missed with the first fastball and the count in, then it was all breaking balls away. Barmes had that little tapper out in front of the mound on Kyle Loesch's first at bat, able to throw him out at first base.
Yeah, there's always we talk about the chess game, George, between managers. There's a great chess game between a hitter and a pitcher.
Yeah, you got a little help.
Yeah, Barmes and Loesch, they realize Barmes' strong suit is hitting the fastball. Loesch knows if you spin it, that's when at times Clint really struggles. And Clint also knows that Loesch is very comfortable throwing 3, 4, 5 breaking balls in a row.
Well, he did it to Torrealba. I mean, he kept everything away from him, kept it down in the strike zone. One thing Dave Duncan does, he's not a mechanical guy really as a pitching coach. He just tries to get you on line, get you to the plate, but on the mental side of the game, how to break down hitters as a former catcher, that is his strongest suit. To set a game plan for you to take to the mound with you to beat an opponent.
Time for today's Quest High Speed pitch. Loesch 92, De La Rosa 96. Brought to you by Quest High Speed Internet. Barmes 11 for his last 22, including 3 doubles, a home run. A slider, it's 0-1. And a late decision. 0-2. Garrett Atkins, this is if Barmes reaches. De La Rosa's on deck. Ready just in case. And true to form, George, nothing straight against Clint Barmes.
Well, I think you're just playing into his role if you do that. I mean, the only other thing, and it's a dangerous thing to do if you're Kyle Loach, is to try to run a fastball up out of the strike zone to him. That's not something you can do with Parmas. He'll hit it into right center field with some authority. You're not going to throw the ball by him fastball-wise, unless it's just a total trick pitch on him.
High with the slider.
You heard me mention earlier on De La Rosa how he ran away from his arm. That time Kyle Loach's hands broke almost 1.5 feet, 2 foot out in front of the rubber. So everything's gone and the arm's dragging and nothing can get the arm on top to present the ball where you need to.
Punch to center field. Rasmus is right there. He'll make the catch. So the Rockies failed to capitalize. They had Tulowitzki at third with 1 out. 3-2 Cardinals. Dealers, buy any new Hyundai and get a whole year's worth of gas for $1.49 per gallon. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. And by Comcast Digital Home Phone Service, warm up to unlimited local and long distance. Call 1-800-COMCAST. With George Frazier and Alana Rizzo, I'm Drew Goodman. The Rockies trailing the Cardinals 3-2. The Rockies had a 2-0 lead. The Cardinals have had a traffic jam on the base paths the last 2 innings. Much of it behind inconsistent strike zone control from Jorge De La Rosa, who is out there in the 5th. De La Rosa worked out of a bases loaded jam last inning by striking out Pujols and Ludwig, 3 and 4 in the Cardinals lineup. De La Rosa has 6 strikeouts, but he has walked 3 and hit 2.
Cardinals have left 7 men on base compared to 3 for the Rockies.
This will be the last inning for De La Rosa. He is due to lead off next inning. Can't imagine that happening. All right, George, say it really fast. The last name of the guy pitching and the guy at bat.
De La Rosa, De Rosa.
Do it again.
De Rosa, De Rosa.
You know what, Alana, can you hear us right now?
I can hear you.
Okay.
It's De La Rosa and De Rosa.
Okay, you say just
what is this? What is this? We having a quiz today?
Although I don't think De Rosa is actually, I don't think his name is actually a Hispanic last name.
No, I think he's Italian. Strike 3.
All right, so it's De La Rosa and De Rosa.
De Rosa, exactly. That was great. One more time, because he's walking in the dugout.
All right. De La Rosa, DeRosa.
There you go. That's beautiful. Thanks, Alana.
You're welcome.
You betcha. David Freese up with one out. George, I can't tell you how much better Alana did it than you did it. Freese 0 for 2, 2 punch outs. Yeah, next inning, George, to lead things off, if indeed Jim Tracy goes to the bench. You got Eric Young Jr., you have the Dexter Fowler option. Well, if the Rockies take a lead later on in the ball game, Jim Tracy would love to have Fowler to go play center field, move Carlos Gonzalez to left. These are the things that managers, bench coaches have to be thinking about way ahead of time. Easy play for Barmes. 2 outs. Here's the Duck or Affleck trivia question. We asked it earlier. Who are the 2 active players with 4,000 or more plate appearances and a .330 career average or better? Now, if you were thinking Todd Helton, he's close, but he started the year at .328. Pujols at .334 and Ichiro at .333. Helton is third on that list at .328. That's a strike on Jason LaRue. Give me 4 and 5, George. Just a little private trivia question.
Well, you go ahead and give it to me because I just, I don't want to show off.
Vladimir Guerrero, .321.
And that's been down a lot the last couple of years due to injuries.
And the guy who plays shortstop for the New York Yankees, Derek Jeter, .317. Those are the top 5 active averages career for players with more than 4,000 plate appearances.
Jeter becoming the all-time hits leader in a Yankee uniform this year.
1 and 2. Dodgers are beating the Pirates again in Pittsburgh 5-3 in the 9th inning. That would be their 94th victory of the year. Swung on a miss. Strong inning for De La Rosa. Middle of 5, the Rockies trail 3-2. De La Rosa scheduled to lead off. We'll see. 3-2 St. Louis, bottom of the 5th inning. Today's big hit of the week is brought to you by ACO. Thursday, Troy Tulowitzki with a 3-run first inning home run against the Padres. Unfortunately, the Rockies could not make that stand up. But it is our ACO big hit of the week. It was home run number 30 for Tulowitzki. The Rockies will go to their bench. Eric Young Jr. will pinch hit against Kyle Loesch, who gave up 2 in the first. And since then, George, he's allowed just 1 hit. That was a Tulowitzki single.
Had a little traffic out on the bases, and this smart move by Jim Tracy. Put speed up here at the top, trying to see if he can get something started with EY Jr. Draw a walk. He's 2 for 12 as a pinch hitter this year.
He came into the ball game last night. Pinch ran for Torrey Alba, stole second. That's a strike. It was not what you wanted from De La Rosa. However, when it got really sticky in the 4th inning, George, and St. Louis could have put up a crooked number, he hung in there. This is a swinging bunt, but that's another error on Pujols. How do you like that? I was about to say it's going to work out for Albert, because right in front of him, all he has to do is pick up the baseball and tag Young. But Eric Young Jr., maybe because of the speed, Pujols went a little too quick.
I think I would agree with you on this 100%. Pujols right out in front. All he has to do is take the baseball, catch and tag. This ball's there in plenty of time. He just popped up into his glove. He was going to take both hands, take it, and stick it. For Pujols, that's his 12th error of the season.
And that's amazing to me, because he really does have good hands. 12 errors a bunch.
Taking advantage of this.
And on his last opportunity, he set a National League record for assists by a first baseman in a season. Here's Cargo.
Randy Flores, the former Cardinal, the left-hander, warming up in the bullpen for the Rockies.
George, I don't know if it's a Dave Duncan thing. It certainly helps having Yadier Molina. But the Cardinal pitching staff, on the right side particularly, keep runners close. Today's speed of the game brought to you by Verizon Wireless. Or lack of speed, or shutting down the speed of the game, the Cardinals have allowed the fewest stolen bases in the National League, just 39. A credit to their staff, pitching staff that is, their coaching staff also, and a credit to Yadier Molina. 1-0. Young is at first. He can fly. Not going, and there's a snap throw.
Yeah, last night they did the same thing. LaRue was behind the plate and was very close at the first base bag last night. Can't let that happen again. He will snap throw it behind you. EY with a couple of big moves, but you see immediately today he made the move back to the bag.
Gonzalez 0 for 2. I was talking to Jim Tracy, George, before the ball game, and we were talking about the subject of tight and loose, and people, anytime things, Reyes, times like this occur, those are the words that particularly fans point out and the media point out. And he said, we just want to play the game the way we have since late May, early June, and that is be aggressive. Don't worry about making mistakes. Play the game full speed. Don't play afraid to make an error, and then you will play loose.
Well, you will. I mean, you just got to go play the game and let it all hang out. Anytime I see a guy playing stiff, he's not going to play well. It's pretty simple. Same thing on the mound.
2-1 on Gonzalez. And this is fouled off. He did a nice job with that pitch, George. He was out away from him when he tried to drive that ball to left field.
Well, you can tell by the numbers when you see that 248 with men on base, and you see the lower numbers and the less home runs on empty. Well, the reason why guys are making better pitches on cargo when there's nobody on base, they're just trying to feed bat fastballs, trying to get outs. But as soon as men get on base, they start to all of a sudden make perfect pitches or attempt to make that pitch to get you out of the inning.
See if Young's going here. He is. And he is whacked on the right field line. Eric Young Jr. is going to score to tie up the game. Gonzalez, bad wheel and all, is into second with a run-scoring double. Eric Young Jr. to the dugout. It's a 3-3 affair.
I'm talking about playing clean baseball. Think of Pujols is there, and then they come back and obviously make him pay for it. 14th double for Cargo, and he took the breaking ball, appeared to be a breaking ball, and just rifled it down into the right field corner. 75 miles an hour on this curveball. You're going to see it come right into your living room, folks. All they can do is give a chase as DeRosa takes after it. DeRosa, you see, Ewald got a little bit of a deep there at second base by the shortstop Ryan, but speed not going to catch up to that. Promise you.
Seth Smith at the plate. Brendan Ryan is hanging around the mound. Are they appealing second or third? Safe call there. Good.
There's going to be one or the other. Somebody saw it. Typically, a shortstop will watch the play unless he's out on a cutoff somewhere. You see Freeze, he's got his head turned, and he glances immediately. It appeared he got the backside of the bag.
Nobody out. The go-ahead run at second. Rockies score here, George. De La Rosa still has a chance to get the victory. Good man to have at the plate, Seth Smith. That's a strike.
And if the Rockies do go on to win this ball game, and they win here, and De La Rosa gets the win, I'm going to go back to the fourth inning when he punched out Pujols and Ludwig with the bases loaded.
And
two guys on the year that have and very minimal bats now. You're only talking about 36 at bats. They got 54 RBIs between them with the bases loaded and 2 outs.
1-2. Smith was trying to hook that ball and move Gonzalez to third. And George, that was a long at bat with Pujols. In terms of striking him out, it went to 3-2. There were a number of foul balls. And then he did not lose concentration with Ludwig right behind him after the victory against Pujols.
That's the big thing about it. Made a pitch when he had to, that hard slider down and in to punch him out.
1-2 on Smith, hitting out of a crouch. It's a good piece of hitting there. Helton on deck. Todd in his customary spot on deck. About 4 big strides from the batter's box. He generally is about halfway between the traditional on deck circle and the plate. Trying to get as good a look as he can at the pitcher. Two and two.
Mott's warming up down in the bullpen for the Cardinals. Their bullpen ranks 4th in the National League. 3.66 earned run average.
pulled hard. Pujols again thought about going to third. He had no play. And Smith moves Gonzalez, the go-ahead run, to third base with one out. Good at bat for Seth Smith. Windshield damage, call Colorado's #1 team, Elite Safelite Auto Glass, 303-287-5000, online at safelight.com.
Right now, LaRue's looking down into the dugout to see if they're going to pitch to Todd Helton, or are you going to go away from him and walk him? With right-handed hitting Tulowitzki, well, big power, big numbers in the on-deck circle. Just kind of pick your poison.
Todd's 1 for 2 in the ball game, hitting .321, fourth best average in the National League. One and one. Todd has 10 sac flies this year, which ties a career high. He had a sac fly in the ball game Friday night in the first inning. 3-3 ball game. 2-1. "87 pitches from Kyle Lose this afternoon." George, more than half have been off-speed pitches.
Well, that's similar to what they saw last night from Wainwright and the night before from Carpenter. More sliders, curveballs than fastballs.
Helton to right, it'll drop. And Todd Helton has given the Rockies a 4-3 lead. Who else? RBI number 82 for Helton, 4-3 Rockies.
Take a look at this pitch and seeing where he's trying to locate this more down and away with an off-speed pitch, a changeup on the rotation of the baseball, and he loops it into right field. This ball has a lot of top spin on it, and DeRosa came in, tried to make the play on it. Lucky it didn't bounce over his head.
Now Tulowitzki steps up. All he's done this afternoon is triple in a run and single. How about Helton, George? The last road trip, he was struggling. 2 for 24 on the road trip, I believe. And now he's come home and you can't get him out.
Yeah, very familiar sight and sound right here at this ballpark. Obviously a little clap of the hands and scuffled out on the road. There's no question about that. 7 strikeouts. In those 24 bats, you don't see that very often.
Upstairs, 2-0 on Tulowitzki. De La Rosa all of a sudden, George, flips from the south side to the north side, huh?
3 runs, 5 innings. Was there a lot of pitches thrown? You bet. A lot of 3-2 counts? You bet. He seemed to work out of innings and work out of trouble.
High pop-up, shallow right field. DeRosa makes the catch in fair territory, 2 outs. Brad Hopp will be next.
Well, if you haven't taken a tour of Coors Field, you might want to do that. It's pretty neat. You come down to on game days or when non-game days, take a guided tour of the dugout, visitors clubhouse, press box. Tours are available Monday through Saturday for both groups and individuals. For ticket information, call 303 Rockies to take a tour of one of the prettiest parks in baseball.
Strike 1 on Brad. Hopp an RBI single in the first. And he hit a ground ball to Albert Pujols to move Tulowitzki to third. That came in the 4th inning. You know, it's interesting to watch how St. Louis aligns things defensively. We've discussed that. Albert Pujols, in previous situations with Helton at first base, will play behind him a couple of steps because Helton's not going to run with a left-handed power bat up, and now he's playing in front of him. 1-2. Cardinals in the 6th inning will have Rasmus leading it off, the pitcher spot, and then Julio Lugo.
And to look for the Rockies to counter. San Francisco on top 2-0 over Chicago. Milwaukee 6-5. The Brew Crew staying in there. They were get beat 5-0 at one time. They still have very potent offense.
Strike 3 on Brad Hopp. Not Brad. Unhappy with that call by Larry Vanover. In the inning, the Rockies scored twice. They take a 4-3 lead. Eric Young Jr. got it going. He reached on an error, and then the speed came into play again on that double. Bat went flying through the bat about 150 feet. Fortunately, we believe nobody was hurt. That was the Frost Brewed Coors Light Freeze Can. He's going home with a nice souvenir. Future Hall of Famer's bat. Rockies ahead 4-3. And Randy Flores is on to pitch for Colorado in the 6th inning. This call to the bullpen is brought to you by Comcast Digital Home Phone Service. Warm up to unlimited local and long distance. Call 800-COMCAST. So Jorge De La Rosa leaves after allowing 3 runs on 4 hits in 5 innings. He is on the plus side. He walked 3. He hit 2 batters. He allowed just 4 hits. He struck out 8. He had every column covered.
And they hopefully walk away with a W. Flores is going to go right at Colby Rasmus, a left-hander. They have Bilal warming up because they have Khalil Green, former Padre, in the on-deck circle.
Colby Rasmus is first at bat. Stepped into the ball game an inning ago defensively for Tyler Green. With Tony La Russa playing, a kid who hadn't played out there in center field since high school. I figured De La Rosa was in all likelihood done, so he went to his starting center fielder Rasmus. the count. There's Matt Belisle. Two and one.
Well, there's that old saying too. I think for Jim Tracy follows along with us a lot of times. If you get them up 3 times and you don't get them into a ball game, then they're done. This is Belisle's 3rd time to get up. If they do run up Khalil Green, he'll counter with all of that. Soft line drive, Thomas will handle. First out here in the 6th.
Time for a Mike Shaw auto update with Alana Rizzo. Alana.
All right, Drew, thanks very much. A little bit more on Jose Oquendo. You know, I mentioned that he began his professional career with the New York Mets. After 2 years in that organization, he was traded to the St. Louis Cardinals back in 1987. And that year, he played every single position on the field with the exception of catcher. In fact, his manager, Whitey Herzog, called him the secret weapon. And his relief appearance on the mound came back on August 7th of that year. They were already down 12-4 to the Phillies. Oquendo pitched the 8th inning. He gave up 3 earned runs. But really, I mean, come on, you can't expect the guy to pitch a shutout. So he has done it all. As Drew mentioned, he is a scratch golfer as well.
Yeah, he's pretty special on the golf course, and he's a very good and, as you point out, versatile baseball player. Flores gets his man. The Rockies will hand the baseball next to Matt Belisle with 1 out in the 6th. Colorado on top 4-3. Will face Khalil Green, who will pinch hit for Kyle Lohse. This call to the pen brought to you by Comcast. Warm up to unlimited local and long distance. Call 1-800-COMCAST.
And a lot of the numbers history-wise against Belisle, I kind of throw out the window because he's not the same pitcher he was even 2 months ago when he was up with the Rockies. Much more aggressive. Different pitch mix. Chuck Neptune, the AAA pitching coach for the Rockies, really worked hard with him and his mental attitude in the AAA level. Even used him as a closer the last month of the season.
It's a dangerous bat at the plate in Khalil Green, who lost it to center field. He's no longer dangerous. He's going to have to head to the dugout. 2 outs. And that'll bring up Julio Lugo. Lugo is 1 for 2, though he reached on an error in the 4th inning. A rare error by Troy Tulowitzki on a bouncing ball right near the second base bag, where Troy was thinking about fielding the ball, doing some fancy footwork to touch the bag and throw to first to complete a double play. It did not happen. Fortunately, that was where De La Rosa struck out Pujols and Ludwig. Low throw, and that's a second error on Tulowitzki. Boy, you almost never see that. I don't know if I've ever seen that before. 2 in the game by Troy, who was so accurate throwing on the move, he kind of nonchalanted it over there. And now Brendan Ryan hits with Pujols on deck, and you put a little pressure on Matt Belisle.
Now you're looking at the ground ball, just hits pretty smooth to him, and then kind of off bounce, a little flippy, threw it in the ground, and Helton on it. This will prove a point to you because not very often Helton misses these. That was a bad hop. It hopped up on the heel of the glove. But that can tell you, how many possible errors he saved a lot of people that have played in this infield over the course of his career.
George, you've been in this situation. There's 2 outs. You had an error. Belisle knows who's on deck.
Yeah, he tried to bunt the ball, and he bunted it off his index finger. Brendan Ryan just did. Watch this, going to catch right off the bottom of his knuckle. See how he got kind of like slamming your finger in the door? That wasn't good. He grabbed that immediately.
Nobody's holding the bat, George. Magic, it's floating. The bat was just floating in the air. Is La Russa going to let Ryan continue?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he's yelling at somebody in the dugout. I don't know about that.
They
He's
change
done.
it around now? Nope, that's it.
He's not letting him continue. That's his starting shortstop.
Thurston will come in. He'll go up and hit for him.
Which means Khalil Green will probably stay in the game. So Thurston will inherit a 1-strike count. Thurston started last night at third base. This is one of those odd ones, George, because usually you have time to prepare. You're looking ahead in terms of being a pinch hitter. This one comes at you out of the blue for Joe Thurston.
Behind, too. I mean, that's just kind of get up, get loose, get going. A lot of guys get that the advantage of the tunnel inside, like Giambi. Go up and start hitting in the 5th, 6th inning, get loose, go back in the 7th, 8th, stretch, be ready to go when his name's called, ready to hit in the 9th. This one was, oh, by the way, get up and hit.
Whoa, look at that. The bat, like a dagger, is just hanging from the screen. And a whole lot of folks in some expensive seats behind home plate saying, boy, I'm glad that screen's there.
Shattered right on impact. I just started thinking about how the bat stayed in the hand all the way around the corner until it got all the way back here.
By the way, for Troy Tulowitzki, his second career 2-error game. The only other one came on August 6, 2007 against the Brewers. When he doesn't make any play, it's just shocking. 0-2 on Thurston, ball 1. Don't want to see him up with people on base.
No, you do not. You don't want anybody in scoring position. You just want it dead empty. Tight ball game, 4-3.
strike three on the outside corner. So Matt Belisle picks up Troy Tulowitzki. And we'll go to the bottom of the sixth with the Rockies ahead 4-3. And the Brewers are in after a day off Monday. The Dodgers in Los Angeles, the final 3 games for the Rockies in the regular season. Again, in the wild card chase, the Atlanta Braves came from behind. They won in extra innings today in Washington 6-3. They've now won 14 of 16. And they are within 2 games pending the outcome of this ball game. If the Rockies win, they move it back to 2.5. Julio Lugo moves from second to short, and Joe Thurston is in at second, so I was wrong about Khalil Green. And the new pitcher is Blake Hawksworth.
Not a big, strong right-hander. You can see it on strikeout a lot of people. You see a lot of ground balls. Hard sinkers down and in.
Torrealba at the plate, takes ball 1. The line on Kyle Lowe's, he goes 5 innings. He gives up 4 runs, 3 earned, 6 hits, walked 1, struck out 4. 2-0 count on Torrealba. 3-0 count on Torrealba. He'll be followed by Ian Stewart and Clint Barmas. And this ball in the air to deep right field. Torrealba has it off the wall, and then it goes through the legs of DeRosa. Heading to third base is Torrealba. He's got himself a head-first triple. Now get him some oxygen. George, he's done everything else. He might as well throw out a triple, huh?
Now you got to take advantage of that. Ian Stewart's got to get him in and build this lead. He ends up getting at third base and nobody out. You got 2 shots on a fly ball or pull the ball to the right side. Fastball down and away. Torrealba went right to the strength with his extension off of the wall. De La Rosa still thinks he has a catch. It ricocheted right off of that cement bottom
It goes around the bottom edge of that, and then it was off to the races to the ball for Tulowitzki to third base.
Tulowitzki running hard the whole way, gets a triple, his first of the year. Infield's back, Stewart at the plate, and a big swing and a miss at a pitch maybe off the plate away. Rockies up 4-3. Trying to add on. Led 2-0, trailed 3-2, got 2 last inning. The go-ahead run produced by Todd Helton.
That's Tulowitzki out of the box, thinking this ball may have had a shot at getting out of the ballpark, but the least amount that's going to happen is once it hits that wall, watch it turn it on right here. You're going to realize, I got a shot, I'm going to give it everything to get to third base. He just outruns everything.
th career triple for Yorvie, his first since 2007. Now Lugo on the left side comes in. Thurston stays back on the right side. Stewart's got to shorten up here, get it in play. Hawksworth, not a big strikeout guy. 36 innings pitched, just 16 strikeouts. Two and two. Barmes is on deck.
Daly, the right-hander, warming up for the Rockies. The left-hander, Reyes, is warming up for the Cardinals.
Now both middle infield guys coming in. Off-speed delivery, cued foul. Gorgeous Sunday afternoon at the ballpark. The Rockies up 4-3 in the 6th. Stewart, if you watch the swing, George, he has shortened up with 2 strikes.
Trying to make solid contact. All he's got to do is pull the ball to the right side, even though they're halfway right now. Tulowitzki doesn't run very well. So they're going to play back to give a little bit more range to have the shot at him. But this is not your normal infield alignment of people. Yeah, here they're going to come sprinting in with 2 strikes.
And he struck out Stewart. That's a big strikeout for Hawksworth. Let's check in again with Alana with today's Great Colorado Payback Sideline Report.
All right, Drew, thanks very much. You know, Clint Barmes seems to be finding his swing once again. In fact, the 2 doubles last night was his 5th multi-hit game in the last 6. And he said, you know what, I'm feeling very comfortable at the plate. I feel like I'm seeing the ball very well. And he's really on par with what he's done in his career, guys. He has 31 doubles, 76 RBIs. He's 1 shy of his career high of 13 steals, making him the first Rockies middle infielder to have 2 seasons of double-digit home runs and steals. So, you know, a lot of people talk about, well, he might be slumping a little bit, but he's right in line with what he's done in the past, and there's still, hopefully, a lot of season left, guys.
Yeah, he's way ahead of schedule, as you talk about, with the home runs and the RBIs. Career highs, 23, 76. He's trying to get one in the air here. Belial is on deck for the moment. Pitch out.
See, I thought about this, and the only reason I say that, Hawksworth really hadn't shown a slider yet. It's been all fastballs. And so I'm thinking, you know, in the mind of Jim Tracy, he squeezed with Barmes the other night. If the guy's throwing nothing but heaters, no sliders that you've seen for a strike yet, and Tony La Russa thinking along those same lines, Barmes may lay the bunt down. Well, he still could.
Tony may go back-to-back pitch outs, too. There's the squeeze. It was a suicide squeeze, too. And Barmes Didn't get the bunt down, but he also didn't miss it.
Two foods for thought here. When you have first base open, a lot of times, I know when I first came up, they tell you, see a guy squeeze and turn around to square, throw it right at his chest, and let him get out of the way and the catcher catch the baseball. Now, obviously, then it's a very difficult pitch to try to bunt. He threw a sinker down and in, which at the velocity it was at, 94 miles an hour, made it hard to bunt, too. He's fortunate he made some contact where he didn't get Torrealba.
One and two. And back-to-back strikeouts. And now Belial will be called back. And Garrett Atkins will hit. Yeah, the situational hitting has not been great in this series for the Rockies. With runners in scoring position, they've been dreadful in the series.
Well, the other thing about it right now, you're sitting at home going, why not Giambi? It's the 6th inning. You got to save the bigger bat to the backside of this thing. And Drew's right. I mean, the situational hitting of not trying to hit the ball out of the ballpark, just make contact with the pitch. You're talking about Ian Stewart, talking about Clint Barmas with just one out, a chance to do something. Unfortunately, they come up empty-handed, 2 straight punch-outs in a row. The last fastball was 87.
Look at it. Look at the numbers. I mean, again,
he doesn't strike anybody out.
Yeah, he has not been a big punch-out guy.
Yeah, he's a contact guy. That's part of it. Well, Belial and Flores did their job coming out of the bullpen to tighten things up. Matt Daly will come on. He'll get Pujols, Ludwig, and DeRosa all right-handed.
Atkins 4 for 22. Pinch hitting. 4 ribbies.
New guy in the big leagues, not any history with Atkins.
Strike one, 1-1. Leadoff triple by Torrealba. And he's still standing at third with 2 outs. This is Garrett's 4th at bat of the homestand. He's 1 for 3. And he popped him up. Lugo in short left field makes the catch, and the Rockies waste a golden opportunity to tack on. Hopefully that will not come back to haunt them. Official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the Rockies. By Burt Automotive. To find great deals on used cars, visit ColoradoWheelsOnline.com or pick up a magazine at over 200 locations. And by Searchlight Channel 888 on your Comcast remote for real estate, automotive, careers, and more. Now, the Rockies last inning got a leadoff triple from Yorvi Torrealba, and they did not bring him around. They still lead 4-3. Matt Daly is on to pitch the 7th inning, and he's going to have to face the thicket of the lineup.
Well, this is the 9th inning for Matt Daly. 9.4 strikeouts per 9 innings. The hits under 9 innings. So obviously the walks. But this is the toughest part here because it's going to flip right back around into the 9th inning. You're going to get these same 3 guys at some point.
Pujols, Ludwig, and DeRosa. Pujols is 1 for 3, but he has all the RBIs. A bases loaded double in the 3rd. Ball 1. Two 2-0 on Pujols. No Matt Holliday today, though he is available. Matt is in the dugout. He's under the weather, battling a bad cold. Albert hits a high fly ball to right field. It'll stay in the ballpark. And Brad Hott makes the catch. And now Daly will stare down the guy that burned him last night, Ryan Ludwig, who hit a 2-run pinch hit home run against Daly in the 9th inning yesterday.
On a curveball down in the strike zone, he was able to extend his arms and take it to left field. He gets one big out. Now get after the other one. Betancourt, Beimel. The left-right combination for the Rockies. There's Dennis Reyes.
Gets a slider and missed with it. Well, that turned out okay. Torrealba set up on the outside corner, and the fastball ended up on the inside corner. Fastball. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Ludwig. Rockies have won 5 of 6 this year against St. Louis. Last 2 ball games have been outstanding. Strike 3 for Daly. Strikes out Ryan Ludwig. 2 out. Nobody on for Mark DeRosa.
Put it right in a perfect spot, and obviously Ludwig not going to do a lot with it. Outside corner block on the knees. Daly knew it. So did Torrealba. A little disagreement from Mr. Ludwig. Shadows really playing the favor of the pitcher right now as far as picking up rotations. There's one over the mound and there's one over the home plate area. So darkness to sunshine to darkness with those shadows works in favor of a pitcher.
One ball, 1 strike on Mark DeRosa, former Ivy League quarterback, a starter for 3 years at Penn. I was talking to somebody, George, recently who worked at Penn when DeRosa was there, playing both sports, and most people didn't pay much attention to him as a baseball player. Obviously, football always gets more attention. We knew him around campus as a starting QB. That's a strike. 2-2. used that athletic ability in the big leagues. He plays a number of positions. 2-2. Strike three. What an inning for Daly. He gets Pujols on a fly ball to right. He punches out Ludwig and DeRosa looking. So the Rockies lead it 4-3. Rapid rewind. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. Dennis Reyes is on. The Rockies have Gonzalez, Smith, and Helton, three left-handers. In the bottom of the seventh inning, Reyes, a former Rocky.
Helton 182 in his career, 2 for 11 against him. Smith has walked in his only appearance. Gonzalez has not seen it.
Gonzalez doubled and scored in the fifth inning. His double brought around the tying run. Eric Young Jr., who had reached on an error by Albert Pujols. Rockies up 4-3, 2-0. Want to hear an impressive stat, George? The guy at the plate, Carlos Gonzalez, has started 66 games. This is his 67th start this year. The Rockies have won 50 of those 66.
Pretty good indication. It's not that hard to make sure he's in the lineup, is it? Let me help you out, Jimmy. You get ready to make out the lineup. Let's go down and see Jim Tracy and say, well, I'll throw something at you here. I mean, not that it means anything. Just thought maybe you want to put him out there somewhere.
Somehow I think Jim's aware of that. Thus, number 5's been in the lineup every day that he can walk reasonably well. High 3-1. Ground ball, base hit.
Well, the Colorado Rockies, they'd like to thank the fans for their support through Fan Appreciation Day on October the 1st. All fans at the game will be entered into the drawing for Rockies merchandise, autograph items. The winners will be chosen randomly by seat location. The Brewers are in town for that, so pick up some tickets at one of the locations or stop by the Rockies here at the ballpark on a walk-up or go online to ColoradoRockies.com.
Dexter Fowler will pinch hit for Smith. He's going to be coming in the ball game anyhow defensively. With the left-hander out there, this move makes a lot of sense from Jim Tracy's perspective. Bunt here, George?
Well, if you're going to play for that, and it looks like what they're going to do is try to bunt it right at Albert. He'll just reach over and tag Dexter for the 1 out. Advance, get the guy in scoring position, and why not? Helton and Tulowitzki right behind him. Did your job.
Time for our job done right player of the series. It's the guy coming up, number 17, Todd Helton. In the series, 5 for 8, 2 RBIs. Moved past Babe Ruth with the double last night. On the all-time list, he's now 44th in the history of the game. Job done right player of the series presented by the Colorado Association of Mechanical and Plumbing Contractors. To have your next building or service project done right the first time, visit mpccolorado.org. And that gets by, and Gonzalez is now at third with 1 out. So here we go again with the Rockies with a runner at third base. They need to cash this one in, George. Dave Duncan is going to come out and visit with Dennis Reyes.
Yeah, maybe buying a little bit of time here, too, for the right-hander down into the bullpen, but this isn't even close. Ricocheted off the glove right by Larry Vanover's head and all the way to the screen.
Infield in. And Helton misses there. It's 1-1. Todd really swung uphill there. 1-2. That's the most tilt I think I've seen the swing from Helton this year.
Reyes and him have matched up numerous times, and he's won the majority of it. 2 for 11 for Todd Helton, 182.
Reyes makes Helton look bad. That's not easy to do. And again, there are 2 outs, and the runner is still at third base. It'll be left to Tulowitzki. And you pitch to Tulowitzki with Hop on deck is the question.
No, go ahead and walk him. Put him at first and third. Set up the force. You got the left-on-left matchups. I mean, everything plays in the favor for you to have success. Hop and Reyes have only met up once. 0 for 1. Spielborgs has not faced him.
Tulowitzki will go to first. Brad Hopp had an RBI single in the first. He's 1 for 3. Brad left on left this year. He's hitting .255. For a good portion of the season, he was above 300. Remember, when the Rockies score 7 or more runs during any ball game, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the following day between 4 and 6. Get 4 tacos for $1. First and third, 2 outs. 4 runs, 8 hits, a couple of errors for the Rockies. 3 runs, 4 hits, and an error for the Redbirds. Reyes almost exclusively faces left-handed batters. This is his 72nd appearance. He's only thrown 38 1/3. LaRue doesn't look comfortable catching the baseball, does he, George?
A lot of shadows, Drew. I tell you, it's hard not only to catch it and hit it both. I mean, there's a lot of shadows right now. And whenever you throw a really tight slider like he throws, I mean, you're kind of sitting back there. It's not a comfortable situation. That's not an easy place to catch right now.
Ground ball up the middle. What a play by the second baseman, Thurston. He saved a run. Joe Thurston, who just came in the ball game an inning ago at second, makes the defensive play of the game and keeps the Cardinals within a run. Tonight's delivery of the game brought to you by Jimmy John's. Well, Joe Thurston keeping St. Louis within a run with a gorgeous play to rob Brad Hopp of not only a hit, but The Rockies of their 5th run. How important is this baseball game? It's the 8th inning. The Rockies are up 4-3. Spilborghs is now in right. I'll get to my point in a moment. We're going to show the outfield. Center field will be occupied now by Dexter, Fowler, and Gonzalez moves to left. On the hill for the Rockies in the 8th inning is not Rafael Betancourt. It is Houston Street. So the Rockies going old-fashioned here. Jim Tracy is going to ask his impeccable closer to get 6 outs, not the conventional 3 that we see about 99% of the time in this day and age. It's going to be old school baseball. Go get 6 outs, Houston Street. He has faced 8 hitters since his return. He has retired them all. In the 8th inning, he'll get David Freese, Jason LaRue, and Colby Rasmus. Freese is 0 for 3.
Yeah, because of his low pitch count per inning when Street takes it. It's typically around 10 to 12 pitches.
Ground ball to third. Stewart. Don't have a play. You get one of those in-between hops. It'll be ruled a base hit.
And they call it the hot corner for a reason. You don't have a lot of reaction to get to one hop or the other. It took that funny hop top spin right at him, tried to knock it down. We've seen him do it numerous times and have the ability to make the play on the ball.
I'm just going to articulate what you're thinking at home, and that is you just hope that the last 2 innings offensively does not come back to haunt the Rockies. Lead-off runner at third 2 innings ago. You had a runner at third with 1 out last inning, and you can't. All you need, honestly, is a ground ball in one of those situations. There's the bunt by LaRue. The Rockies struck out 3 times. Colby Rasmus with the tying run at second comes up. Second at bat for Rasmus. He had a soft liner to Clint Barmas his first time. Inside, ball 1. This is just the second time Street will be asked to work more than an inning. On April 24th, he went an inning and 2/3. It was not a save situation against LA. And then he had a 4-out save August 16th in Miami against the Marlins. And you wonder, George, is the mindset at all different? I mean, normally you're coming out there, man, I got to get 3 outs, and then we're shaking hands. This is a deal where that's a strike where he knows, I got to get this inning, and then I got another inning of work. I mean, is it different?
No, I think you just go attack the strike zone and do what you do and try to get quick outs. That's the important side of this thing. You don't try to do anything different. You don't try to pitch any different. You just realize with the off day tomorrow, you're going to be out there for more than your normal 12, 15 pitches. You're going to be out there for 25 to 30.
2-2. And you got to have somebody behind him in this situation. And it's 2 right-handers, Peralta and Rincon. Josh Kenny, who was just called to the big leagues 4 days ago, is throwing in the Redbirds bullpen.
Rick Ankiel stepped out in the on Dexter.
Swung on and missed. Rasmus is gone. 2 outs.
We're talking about a very, very hard slider. It appeared to be up into the strike zone and then kind of had some late backup on it, and he was able to get the strikeout on it. Swung right over the top of it.
So Rick Ankiel will pinch hit with 2 outs in the 8th inning.
6 for 20 as a pinch hitter with a couple of home runs and 3 RBIs. He's never faced Houston Street. Advantage Street.
Yeah, he's got a lot of power. In the air to center field. Easy play for Dexter Fowler. And Houston Street avoids a problem in the 8th with the tying run at second. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th, 4-3 Colorado. Torrealba will lead it off.
Bullpen, Jason Mott will come into the game, averaging 9 hits per 9 innings, 8.5 strikeouts, and a little over 3 walks, almost 4 walks for him per 9 innings of work. Torrealba will lead it off for the Rockies. Torrealba today with a leadoff triple back in the 6th, couldn't bring him around to score. Houston Street, boy, I tell you what, 10 pitches to get through the inning, that's pretty good. Just a hit, give it up, a leadoff single, sacrifice, a punch out, and a fly ball to center field.
Jason Mott aboard, and here comes Torrealba. The way things have gone with the situational hitting, you're thinking, you know what? The only way they're going to score is to hit one over the wall. It has been a rough ride in this series for the Rockies with runners in scoring position. They came in 0 for 16. They did get a hit in the 1st inning from Brad Hopp with a runner in scoring position. They're 2 for 10 in today's game. They've had a ton of opportunities. Two for 26 in a series, yet the Rockies have a very good chance at taking 2 of 3 from St. Louis despite those numbers. And Torrealba gone. Let's take a look at the VHIX.com game summary. ComcastVHIX.com. Pujols a 3-run double. Cardinals took a 3-2 lead after the Rockies had an early 2-0 lead. Todd Helton a couple of more hits. And De La Rosa, it's not a real pretty line, but he stands to get the victory. And he pitched out of an enormous jam in the 4th inning, striking out Pujols and Ludwig with the bases loaded. And Atlanta won earlier today, 6-3 in 10 innings at Washington. Rockies trying to keep them back in the wild card chase by 2.5 games. Here's the 1-0 to Stewart, 2-0. Kind of know what you're going to get with Mott, George.
Coming with a pretty good fastball. He's got a good slider. He'll work with it. Bullpen guy that originally was a catcher growing up out of Iona College. How about this? He was ranked as the 10th best catcher in 2002 by Baseball America among New England Collegiate League catchers. Resides in Johnson City.
Johnson City, Tennessee. Iona College is in New Rochelle, New York.
Started out in 03. Did pretty well in Johnson City. Hit .310 that year as a catcher. Switched to a pitcher in the 06 season.
Three and two. Barnes on deck. Here's the 3-2. And that's pulled foul. Stewie in a good mood today. The Trojans won this week, George. Enormous Southern Cal football fan. USC is where he would have gone to college if he did not sign with the Rockies as a first-round pick. And a broken bat roller to Pujols. 2 outs, and Barnes will come up in the 9th inning. It'll be the top of the order, naturally, for St. Louis. Lugo, Joe Thurston's schedule came in the ball game a couple of innings ago, and then Albert Pujols. Matt Holliday is available. Tells me Holliday may be hitting for Thurston.
I was watching LaRue's action, like looking at that. Did that just fly over my head and hit the wall behind me?
Wow.
Yeah.
Just gives you an idea how hard 97 miles an hour is. Because it's 60 feet 6 inches to LaRue. It's actually a little more than that. LaRue's behind the plate. And then it's, you know what, another 40 some odd feet to that screen. Pop-up. Thurston will make the catch. We will go to the 9th inning. Houston Street has already gotten 3 outs. He'll try to get 3 more, and he'll have to deal with number 5. Is brought to you by Mike Shaw Chevy Saab, Colorado's crossover and SUV headquarters on Colorado Boulevard for 50 years. Visit MikeShawAuto.com. By the Great Colorado Payback, reuniting you with your money. And by
Nuggets 10 game fan plan start at just $1.99. Buy now and see Kobe and the Lakers free. Denver Nuggets basketball. Can you feel it?
Never done that. I don't know if I will kayak. Looks like fun though. I'm going to live vicariously. Rockies 4, St. Louis 3, top of the 9th inning. Houston Street, second inning of work. Julio Lugo, Joe Thurston, and Albert Pujols, the scheduled 3. Matt Holliday is available. There's Mark Stout. He has the postgame show next. Mark?
Yep, Drew, it's a brave new world in terms of the wild card race. We'll update everybody on the scoreboard, how the Braves did and how things are kind of panning out on this Sunday. Sweet 16, Jorge De La Rosa in line for his 16th win, believe it or not, and giving him help. And Todd, couple of hits, ribbing a run, doing his thing. We'll have the postgame show coming up after the game. Drew?
All right, Mark, thank you. Lugo in the ball game is 1 for 4, though he has reached on a couple of errors by Troy Tulowitzki. Here we go. Houston Street. And a slider that disappeared late. A Schumacher has come out on deck for Thurston.
That just repeats everything so perfectly with that hard slider, able to get the arm in the proper arm slot. Probably that was one pitch that they concerned themselves with when he came off the DL, to have the feel for the strike zone with that pitch, and obviously he's had it. Release point.
Peter missed at 93. I think slider away. That's his strikeout pitch.
Well, I tell you right now, the Rockies talk an awful lot about defense and talk about starting pitching, but without this young man sitting down at the back end of their bullpen saving ball games this year, you wouldn't be where you are. Period.
Period, end of subject. He's been phenomenal. Here's the 1-2. That ball is left up, and it's a base hit. So the tying run aboard. And now Schumacher looking back, seeing what his skipper wants. That slider missed location.
A little bit of a hanger, tried to take it way out of the strike zone, didn't get it there.
Not bunting, swung on and missed, 0-1.
Surprised a little bit. I know Schumacher's a guy that's got some pop. He's, you know, it's going to swing the bat fairly well. 35 RBIs, but with Pujols in the on-deck circle, I figured they'd give him the shot to drive into tying run by sacrificing. He's swinging away on that first pitch.
Hey, you know, he may come back to it right here. Swinging, ground ball, tough chance. Tulowitzki on the move. Out at first, well played by Troy. He may be the only shortstop in the game that makes that play. LaRusso will come out and argue. That won't do much good. The runner is in scoring position with 1 out. Marvelous play by Tulowitzki.
After all this years of managing, I can tell you right now, he's got every question he's going to ask you to try to bait you to get the answer he wants to hear. Sliced, that's what he likes to do, go into the hole like that, and here's the head first slide. Called out at first by Sam Holbrook. Here's a great look at it.
He's safe.
Yep, he's safe. Tony had an argument. Take the out, though. forearms past the bag when Helton caught it. Yep, Pujols will, and that's really why you're arguing an awful lot. Pujols get walked, obviously. Not going to pitch to him.
You know, ordinarily, so you want to put the go-ahead run on base. When it's Albert Pujols, you pass on. Ryan Ludwig is on deck. Mark DeRosa is in the hole. There's the walk to Pujols. And now Ludwig will come up. He is 0 for 3 in a walk. He has struck out 3 times. But he also owns 22 home runs and 92 RBIs. Outside, ball 1 on Ludwig. Street pitched the 8th inning. Gave up a leadoff single to Freese. After a sac bunt, he was able to get the next 2 hitters. Well, nothing's been easy this year for the Rockies. Not when you, at one point, fall 12 games beneath 500 and 15 and a half behind the field in the National League West. That's a strike.
And if he thinks back, the last time Ludwig was up, he took every pitch to the outside corner with Daly on the mound. 2 sliders, and then in the last heater froze him. See if they go back and try to be consistent with that same pattern down and away from him. 0 for 1 in his career versus Street. A lot of times pitchers do that a little more comfortable, just spinning off the mound when they're not happy or really fully sold on the pitch that's been called or what they're trying to do with it. All Jim Tracy could do is pace, fold the arms, just hope the right things happen with his ace on the mound out of the bullpen.
He's gone through about 10 packages of Tums today, I guarantee you. 1-1. Lugo takes off for third, and he swipes the bag. That puts the Rockies in an interesting dilemma. The good thing is you have a guy who strikes out a lot at the plate and a guy who gets a lot of punch outs on the mound. The Rockies up the middle will play for 2. And they'll play for 2 at third base with Stewart because right now he's 4 or 5 strides behind the bag. A little more heat now on Street to get the strikeout. They set up away. And it is a floater to shallow right. It is caught by Barnes. And the double play ends the ball game. Can you believe that? What a play by Barnes. What a play by Barnes. I look back at Lugo figuring he would tag. He was halfway down the line. And Albert Pujols For some reason, he had to hang somewhat close. He did not. And the Rockies win it 4-3.
You felt like off of the bat that this ball was going to drop, that there's no way Barmes could get there. This ball is hung up into the air. Barmes on a dead sprint, head down, looks up, finds the ball, catches. When he rolls, see how he cuffed and protected everything. And then the throw over to first base, and they double this thing up. You see Spilborg's coming in from right. He's going to start yelling, throw the ball here, throw the ball here. Get him at first base because Albert Pujols took off. An unconventional W. It's like a walk-off defensive play. It's a walk-off double play.
You know what, George? That's exactly what it was. A walk-off defensive play. A miraculous catch when you figured the ball game was tied. And then the double play on a bad base running play by the best player in the game. And the Rockies keep their 2.5-game lead in the wild card. They take 2 of 3 from the Cardinals. Perhaps, if all goes well, for the Rockies, an opening round playoff opponent. They go 6-1 against St. Louis this year, and they are now 88-68. 4-3 final. All I can say is unbelievable. Street, a 6-out save. Stick around.